BRUCAST is back, baby.
And he's so good. Michael Fassbender. I love that guy.
Mm.
Every movie that he plays in is like it's amazing. I watched Steve Jobs recently. He plays Steve Jobs like he doesn't look anything like Steve Jobs. Nothing. But 1 minute in, 2 minutes in the movie, that's Steve Jobs. You believe it. He
Mm.
sell it so well. Like his mannerisms, the way he speaks, it's just amazing.
It's awesome because an impression, it's an interpretation
Yeah.
of the person. And you're right, there's like it may not look like it, but he has an interpretation of this man and he's presenting that and it's believable. So it's yeah, another top tier guy,
Yeah.
like really, really inspiring stuff.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And if you look like there was another movie from Steve Jobs with Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher even looks physically more like Steve Jobs,
Mm.
but he didn't do a job good enough. I think he was. I don't know. I don't know. It's just
No, I think that's a good example of the two different types of actors.
yeah.
I think that's a good example there. And it's not right or wrong. It's just we're all so individual and we're all made in such different ways. But for me, it really is storytelling. It's like, what are we trying to say?
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing for me now is like, what are we trying to say here? And if I can offer something to that, whether I'm writing it or performing in it, what can I offer to this? And if I can bring something to it, that's awesome. But for me, it's like, what are we trying to say here? If we're not trying to say anything, um, or give a point of view, it's maybe not so interesting.
Mm. Okay. So let's say, Daniel, they call you to be part of the new Fast and Furious movie. What do you say? What? How
Um,
would you react?
I would look at the people, the time, the script. Um, I'd look at is this scary? I'd look at all the pieces, and then I would make. It's not as simple as just yeah, yay, or it's like I would really look at a number of things and make a making a an assessment on that. But yeah, I think I can't give you a simple. It's the dream. It's the dream, right? To be offered
Hmm.
a huge franchise, like to be offered a huge franchise thing. I mean, that's massive. But for me, things have to kind of align with my moral integrity, and when it comes to storytelling, and my experience on sets, there's a number of things um, that I look at
Hmm.
now. But when the opportunities are there, it's it's tough, particularly in these past years with COVID and then um, strikes in America, particularly. It's like it's 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 a tough gig. It's a tough gig
In Hollywood?
everywhere,
Everywhere. Okay.
everywhere,
Okay.
everywhere. I just think when the pieces, what I seek is really healthy, collaborative, awesome collaborative experiences.
I see.
I love the collaborative side of it. And the thing about filmmaking is that there's so many pieces moving. It's almost like, you're trying to shoot like arrows through all these different, and any one of these pieces can like fall apart at
Hmm.
any stage of the filmmaking process, before, during, and after. And the collaborative side of it, when you find that's all like gelling, that's an awesome thing. And that's quite a tricky thing to find, but that's what I seek.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, that makes totally sense. How many movies you hear every day that are being canceled or postponed or about drama, just simple drama that happens on set with like directors yelling and mistreating actors.
I've I've seen it and I've been part of it.
Oh.
Um, I've witnessed it. I've been part of it. I've yeah, I've seen it firsthand, and yeah, it seriously can fall. It can fall down for any number of reasons. So the fact that any film gets finished is a miracle in my eyes, and no, it's really to be celebrated because just getting that film finished in itself is is no small feat
Mm,
because of all the constraints and all the moving pieces and all the different stages, and it's really to be celebrated when a film gets finished.
hmm. I watched the Star Wars documentary not a long time ago, and everyone praises George Lucas for being, well, George Lucas. He created Star Wars, of course, and it's amazing, and I love it. I mean, a lot of people love it, of course, but when you look behind the scenes, he was like a person in a big puzzle, like the way why the Death Star has this sharp light on it was because like I don't know, like some internal drama, because George Lucas wanted some more soft light, and the guy who responsible for the light was, I don't know. I'm butchering the story. I don't remember the story very well, but he just did it the sharp light to piss George Lucas off, and it created like an iconic look that everyone loves. Apparently, the editing was made by his wife. Guys, I know a little bit. I'm sure there's a lot of Star Wars fans now that are hating me because I'm not explaining it correctly, but so many small details that came together to create this masterpiece. And George Lucas, of course, he was at the top of the whole thing, directing the whole thing, but so many other amazing people collaborated in order to create what you said is like a miracle.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
It's just a massive team effort, and
yeah,
everybody. That's what I mean. Every role is just as important, whether it's the person in the grips or the sound. Or it's all just so pivotal, and I actually really just appreciate it when there's no ego,
yeah.
when the egos, because if ego, and the thing is, I've experienced this in bands as well.